Hey friends. Sorry I'm a little late. I accidentally started this live in the wrong orientation. And apparently there's no way to change it, so I guess we're doing vertical. Hope everyone's doing all right today. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy Solstice. I am going to play with some flowers today. My plan is to make a practice bridal bouquet. I've been practicing my spiral bouquet technique, and I think I'm getting it down pretty well, but we will see how it goes. My bride, Gina, really likes the look of a cascading bouquet, and there's lots of different ways that you can accomplish that. You can put in foam. They make like foam holders in that shape, or other kinds of mechanics. But you can also just make a spiral bound bouquet that has some flowers that like to cascade. So when I make her bouquet in September, I'm probably going to use amaranth for that, or if I have some droopy dahlias or snapdragons with a bend to them, that can work quite well. But today what I have to work with is these beautiful corn cockles. They have a really nice drape to them, and they're so cute. They really capture the movement. So I think what I'm gonna do is go through the ingredients that I have to work with today, and then we'll just start arranging. If you have any questions, anything you want to know more about or want to share with me about what's going on in your garden or on your solstice evening, please feel free to jump in and say hi. Okay, so I grew almost everything that you see on the table here. There's a couple of things that I purchased, but I want to go through and show you what I have. First, we talked about the corn cockles. They kind of remind me of cosmos with the way that they move. And also one really nice thing about them is that all of these little tips are blooms. And as time goes on, they're going to open. So it's really fun to watch this one mature in the arrangement. What else do we have here? I have a bunch of these beautiful Snapstar snapdragons. I got these from Farmer Bailey as plugs because last fall when I ordered them, I didn't know where or if I could get seeds for these. But as it turns out, I did get some seeds for them and I started some. They're much smaller in the garden, but these are so pretty. I love how ruffly they are, and the ombre effect, sort of yellow in the bottom and fades to blush as it gets more towards the tip of the blossom. So pretty, so cute. I have some really cute pink peonies. I did not grow these. I have yet to put peonies in this garden, but I'm gonna find a place for them soon because they're so pretty and they smell amazing. One thing I'm learning this season is that I really respond to the scent of flowers as much as the texture or the color. So more good smelling flowers is better. What else do I have over here? I have these incredible stems of Bupleurum. Again, I grew these, and I've grown these in the past, but they were pretty dinky. This is the first year that I've gotten some real size on these stems. And I love them. They almost look like sea kelp or something with these big leaves and these little flowers. Super duper cute. What else do I have over here to show you? Oh, I have some, guess what this is? It's oregano. My husband planted a bunch of it just as ground cover and to harvest some, and it started to get really big. It lived through the winter and got bigger and bigger. And now it's these really pretty lilac blossoms. I did find with this one, it's best to wait till the stem gets kind of woody before you pick it. Otherwise, it's gonna droop on you. What else do I have in my bag of tricks here? I have tons and tons of feverfew. If you've seen any of my videos in the last few weeks, you know that my feverfew patch went crazy this year, and I'm drying a bunch of it to use for holiday decorations, but it's so cute and I have tons of it, so I'm happy to arrange with it as well. I've got some other colors of snapdragons here. I've got this pretty rose colored one. I have the bronze color that's so incredible. The insides of these petals are hot pink and the outsides are orange. They almost glow. So pretty. And I have a bunch of yarrow. This is my first year having enough yarrow to pick, and I'm in love with it. These teeny tiny little pink flowers with yellow centers. And I picked some terracotta today as well. Where did that one go? Guys, I'm getting lost in my flowers. I have so many. All right, we're gonna come across the terracotta yarrow as we start arranging. Oh, here we go. Oh, those are still pink. All right, well, we'll find them. And I have these Fama blue scabiosas. They're very cute. I got these from the local Pittsburgh flower farmers co-op, where a bunch of flower farmers upload whatever they have every week to a website, and you can go buy it. I ordered these, and I also ordered a bunch of campanula, and these are gorgeous. I gotta say the campanula were not that great. I brought them. They gave me a break on the price because they weren't as big and long as what they said they were. But then I brought them home and realized they were infested with bugs. So now we have like a bunch of gnats in our house that we're battling. And yeah, I think going forward, I'm not gonna pre-order from the website. I'm just gonna go there and buy whatever looks good. All right, so let's start arranging. I'm gonna start with this big sturdy stem of Bupleurum, and I'm just gonna start layering stuff in. Now, making a spiral bouquet, you start by making an X with your first couple of stems. I'm gonna take off a couple leaves here too. And then you just keep adding to the X as you turn your hand. So let's see, I'll add another snapdragon here, maybe some feverfew. I'm finding with flower arranging, it's one of those things where you can watch tons of videos, you can read about different techniques and watch other people do it, but it really just takes practice and getting used to the movements of your hand. So I'm adding each stem in at this angle, so sort of a 45-degree angle. And then as I turn it, I can add the next stem at the angle, at the same angle. And I'm trying to not hold these flowers too tight because I want to keep some air in there, keep some motion in there, so it's not just like a tight ball at the end. And I'm just going to layer in some more flowers here. I think I want one of these peachy guys and then a yellow guy. The neighborhood is hopping this week, this evening. I don't know if you guys can hear all that, but we have some dogs that are making their presence known. There's a party across the street. Summertime in the city. All right. Now I think I'm going to layer in some oregano. And the nice thing about the spiral is that since you're not holding it that tight, you can adjust the height of these blooms however you want to. And just keep turning and adding and turning and adding. Let's see, I think a feverfew. I'm having a lot of fun with the garden this year. It is our second year in this garden. We moved into this house, I guess about 15 months ago, and immediately went outside and started working on the garden. And, you know, last year was beautiful, but it was a first year garden. Things were not as prolific as they are this year. And I am really having fun harvesting almost every day. picking tons of sweet peas. It's been an incredible larkspur season. It's almost over. They're starting to fall apart, and it's bittersweet because they've been so pretty, but also I'm ready to have another crop there. But they have been incredible this season. The colors are so pretty. This really soft lavender color, stunning. I also had some that were like a glowing blue-purple color. All right, I think I'm gonna add in one of these Scabiosa now. Give it another turn and add some more flowers. So at this point, we've planted most of the things that we're gonna plant this year. Of course, I'm starting more zinnias for a bed that I'm creating in the front of the house. And as things start to succumb to powdery mildew as the season goes on, I'm gonna hoik them out and replace them. But all of the major areas of the garden are planted at this point, which is very exciting. Look at this snapdragon. This is a Costa apricot, and I always think of it as the buttered popcorn snapdragon because when these petals start to fall off, it looks like you just dropped a little piece of popcorn. Okay. What do we want to put in here now? I think let's do one of these apple blossom snapdragons. This is another one of my favorites with the white petals and that pink throat with just a little bit of yellow in there. It's so pretty. This is a very spring-like color palette. We have a couple of deep tones in here, a couple of these magenta snapdragons, but most everything is a pastel. And to me, that makes everything really sit together nicely because there's a lot of white in most of these colors and that makes them very harmonious. All right, let's throw another Bupleurum in here. I'm obsessed with this Bupleurum. I buy this at Trader Joe's sometimes and it is not as good as what I grew. And that's maybe the first time I could ever say that. All right, so I'm holding this pretty lightly. I'm gonna move my hand down a little bit just to give it a little bit more movement now that the spiral is starting to form. But the idea with this is that as you add stems, they sort of start to reinforce each other. So it becomes a pretty stable structure. All right, what do I want to add in now? I'm thinking maybe a little bit more blue. Come on, buddy. So I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch my video from earlier today, but we had a baby robin squatting in the side yard for a while. And it was very cute, but also I was glad when he left because I had a bunch of snapdragons that I needed to harvest and I didn't want to disturb him. But I was like a foot away from him and he just froze. I think maybe that was like trying to, you know, play possum so that no one, including me, could see him. But he was pretty cute. It's hilarious to me though, like how those baby robins are basically the same size as their parents. And their mom and dad was just coming over here and giving him a snack every few hours. It was pretty cute. All right, let's throw a little more feverfew over here because I kind of want to support these flowers. And the feverfew has really strong stems. All right, is it time for a peony? I think maybe it is. These are so pretty. Now I'm going to try to place this one so that you can actually see it. I don't want it to get lost in all of the little flowers around it. Hey Daryl, Mr. Gothic Park, how you doing? I was watching your video earlier and you were talking about how hot and humid it was and I was feeling you on that. I don't know if you can tell. I set up a fan over here like Beyonce to keep the air moving so I wouldn't completely sweat on camera. All right, I'm gonna throw in another scabiosa here. A little bit of blue to contrast with this blushy color. Can you guys see what I'm doing okay? Hope I'm not hiding everything. I wasn't prepared for the vertical live. I'll know for next time. Very important which way you hold your phone when you click live. Okay. How are you all doing out there? What are you getting up to tonight on your solstice evening? This is looking so pretty, right? I'm gonna cut some of these off just because they're jabbing me a little bit. Make it a little easier to work with. This is one nice thing about arranging outside. You can just make as big a mess as you want to. Okay, let's throw in another peony. I only have 5, so I need to be judicious with them. That looks really cute. All right, now let me turn this and let's throw in a little bit of a bright color here. Let's try this rose snapdragon. These snapdragons are massive. They have a giant thick stem. I'm very proud of them. All right, what do we want to put in to support the peony? Ooh, I found the terracotta yarrow. Woo, it was hiding. Look at that color. So pretty. I planted this one last fall and it really didn't do much last year, but it lived through the winter and it came back gangbusters this year. Honestly, I think next year I'm gonna need a lot more yarrow because I love it. It's so cute. Look how the yarrow just sits in there. And the buplorum's moving around a little bit. So pretty. Let's throw another buplorum over here. And we'll keep turning. All right, I want something, you see how this spiral is starting to form here? Everything's kind of twisted in the same direction. That's what you want. All right, I'm gonna throw in one of these snapdragons. And maybe one of the small corncockle stems. Just to get a little movement and a little hit of purple over here. Ooh, that's cute. All right, now let me turn and see what else is going on. Okay, good feedback. I could be closer next time. I will. All right, let's throw in, thank you for telling me. You know, we're just figuring all this stuff out as we go. All right, peony, come back. I'm gonna put this little lavender guy right here and just let him kind of stick out a little higher than everyone else. Very nice. And as I turn it, I think I want another one of these guys near this peony. All right, buddy. I'm going to throw a little yarrow under here too. The yarrow has nice strong stems, so if anything is feeling floppy or feel like it needs a little support, the yarrow is really good for that. Also, I've seen people use it as the structure of their bouquet, so they just make like a little tight knot of yarrow and then just stick the stems in between the flowers. Kind of works like a flower frog just to hold them where you put them. Very cool. All right, so as I look at this, I'm feeling like oh, this guy's bent. I'm feeling like the drape is starting to happen already on this end, so I'm going to kind of lean into that. As I build it up, I'm going to start putting drapier stuff over here so that if you're holding it as a bridal bouquet, you'll see all of the flowers from the top and then a bit will drape down from the bottom. I have tons of these Snapstar Snapdragons. I think I only planted, I had 16 plugs and they're producing like crazy. So hopefully they come back for a second flush. All right, so let's start getting some of these longer drapier stems in here. This is the little puffball feverfew. I'm actually not going to use this one because it's looking like it's a little bit past its prime. Let's find something else here. Start layering in some corn cockles. And really I'm just trying to let them drape and do their thing. I think when I practice this next time, I'm going to do it in front of a mirror, so I'll be able to see how everything is laying. But for now, I can kind of look in the computer and see what's going on. All right, I think I'm going to throw a peony over here too. I'm just going to put it in at slightly more of an angle, so that it sits amongst the corn cockles. All right, add some more snaps here. And I'm just sliding the stem in between my thumb and my forefinger. I think another little bit of yarrow would be good right around here. And a little more blue. Come on this side to balance out the blue on the other side. I'm going to pull off some of these leaves while I'm doing this. All right, now let's give it a turn. See how we're looking. Good, good, good. Now I'm going to pull some of these up just so they sit above the plane of the arrangement. I don't want stuff to get lost in there. All right, let's put another peony. I'm gonna stick it right in here. So when you're holding the bouquet like this, you'll be able to see it. Now I do notice some of these peonies have ucky looking petals on the outside. I'm just gonna pull them off. No big whoop. All right, let's throw a little bit more bupleurum here. And keep twisting. I think we need a little bit more snapdragons here too. Give some of these longer ones a snip again. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the other projects that I have planned for the rest of the season, because like I said, most of the big ones are done or at least on their way to being done. So, oh, I broke one of my little corn cockle guys here. Let's snip him off before I forget. So I think one thing that I want to do is plant some containers up on my deck. A couple weeks ago, I took down the greenhouse that we had up there, but I left the shelves, and I want to use that as a little container garden. I was thinking I would plant, of course, some zinnias in some big pots, and I kind of want to grow a tea garden. I had a bunch of little pots of mint, different kinds of mint, like chocolate mint and orange mint, on my front porch last year, but I think the pots were too small and they just didn't do that well. So I want to try again and make some tea throughout the summer. Last year I found my favorite blend was a bit of pineapple sage and a bit of chocolate mint. It tasted really good together. I also want to clean my porch. It is a mess. We don't really have any much outdoor storage. We have a little bit now, but you know, when we get bags of soil or whatever, empty pots, they end up just living on the porch, and then before you know it, it's a mess. So I want to tackle that because it's a really nice space to like sit out and have a cup of tea in the morning. And right now it's not a very nice space. So I want to get that taken care of. And of course, I want to finish building the zinnia bed in the front of my house. And I think that I might put in a little bistro set right here where I'm sitting, just because this is one of the only shady parts of our garden. And it would be nice to be able to sit out here with a nice drink, maybe write in my journal, maybe hang out with a friend, have a glass of wine. And once the flowers that I've planted over here get taller, it'll be nice and secluded in here as well. So that's just some of the stuff that I have on my mind for the rest of the season. But honestly, I'm gonna be super busy just taking care of all of the babies that I've already planted at this point. So it's not like I'm gonna be bored. All right, I'm trying to turn this snapdragon around. I want it to float out, not in. And I think I'm gonna put my last peony right in the middle. Let's see if I can make this work. Thanks, Daryl. Tony? Is it Daryl or Tony? All right, I'm trying to ease up my hand a little bit to make a little room. There we go, and I just pop it right in. Hey, that worked. All right. All right, this is getting pretty big, y'all. All right, I'm gonna stick a little oregano over here. And maybe a little bit of this slightly drapey feverfew. And I'll put a couple of corn cockles here as well. These are just about done for the season, so I took a big harvest of them today. I need to find out if they come in any other colors or if it's just purple and white. All right, I don't know if I'm getting the full cascade situation that I wanted, but it is looking really pretty, so we'll just keep going. This is how we get better, right? We just practice. All right, let's throw a little bit of contrast in here. Ooh, that's nice. Just a little bit of magenta. And I have this one scabiosa that's like on, buddy. It's draping over a little bit. It doesn't look dead, but it just has this cute shape. So I'm gonna take off the side shoots. Oh man, those peonies smell so good. And I'm gonna add this again to the top. See if I can manage it. Just to give it a little droopiness, very cute. All right, what else do we want to put in here? I think that we're getting close to being done with this thing because, I don't know, if I can barely hold it in my hand. I'm pretty tall. The bride is a much smaller person than me. So I don't know if she wants to be hauling around 10 pounds of flowers all day. I feel like this is really pretty, but it could use a little something right here. So I'm just gonna add a couple snapdragons there. Maybe one of these apple blossoms. Maybe a little bit of yarrow. I'm really loving this peachy yarrow with the lavender larkspur. The larkspur are so good. I had no idea. Much like the bupleurum in the past when I've grown them, they've been pretty dinky. And this year, they're like this high, crazy. All right, I think I'm gonna add just a little bit more bupleurum around the outside, just for some greenery and support. Maybe a little oregano. I'm just kind of pulling some of these flowers up so they don't get lost. I really love the look of a bouquet when there's a bunch of different levels happening and it's not just a sphere. Now, one thing I forgot that I should have done is bring out something to actually tie this bouquet with, but that's all right. We'll stick it in the vase, it'll be happy. All right, I'm gonna put a big bupleurum here. I'm gonna turn it around and put another big bupleurum on the other side. Oh gosh, that's so cute. I'm gonna add a couple things to the outside of the bupleurum as well, because I don't think I want that to be my outer level. Actually, I think I want to put this on the other side that I was wanting to get a cascade, because this is pretty cascadey. And then maybe a couple little guys right in here, because I feel like there's a little empty spot right there. And I'm just trying to support this peony a little bit and maybe put a little bit of contrast around her so we see her better. I think I'm about done. This is feeling very cute. Again, I will want to practice this in a mirror so I can see how it moves. Thank you. But yeah, I'm feeling good about this. So since I'm not planning to use floral foam for the wedding, floral foam's a really useful material, but it's not very good for the environment, and it's not very good for the humans who touch it. It can get into your lungs, and it's just not something that I want to fool with if I don't have to. So that's why I'm practicing these spiral bouquets rather than relying on Oasis foam to hold everything in position. But the idea with Oasis foam is that you soak it with water and then you put the flowers in, and then the foam keeps the flowers hydrated. And since I'm not going to have that, I think what I'm going to do is I will tie the bouquet, and I'll just give the bride a vase, and she can bring the vase around with her throughout the day of the wedding. And when she doesn't want to carry it, she can just plop it in the vase, and no big whoop. It's right there for her the next time she needs it. So I think I'm going to end the live there, friends. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you spending some time with me, and I hope that your summer is amazing. You get to have lots of good barbecues, lots of fun in your garden, and I will see you next time. Bye. Oh man, I'm a mess.